ॐ वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभः निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ॐ शुभं करोति कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योति नमोऽस्तुते। ॐ या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शक्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः. So, Mitro, friends, we are here today with the topic called transportation of fluids. So, with discussing this point, you should know about how the fluids, especially this class is for chemical engineers and for the enthusiast or the curious persons who wants to know deeply how the fluids, that is the slurry or that is the viscous, more viscous fluid, all that things are, how they are traveling, what is the basic principle, what is the reason behind it. So let us start without wasting much more time. So here we are going to learn in this lecture series of how can we handle the fluids. Like, for handling the fluids we are using pumps, compressor and the blowers for handling different fluids, and standards for the pump, like which pump we are using for which fluid. Like, if there is much more viscous fluid, then what, which pump we have to use. For the accuracy matters, then we have to use the different pump which we called as reciprocating pump, and the compressors and the blowers, all these things are we are going to cover. Especially valves are also playing major role when the fluids are being transported. Pipe fittings, because there are many losses when fluid is traveling through pipe, that is categorized into major loss and minor loss, and their standards. Power requirement for flow, like how much power we have to supply to travel the fluid, like for traveling the fluid from x position to y position, you can say. So that is also one of the most important thing we are going to learn. Piping layout and economical pipe diameter. And for this lecture series we are referring this books called Introduction to Fluid Mechanics and Fluid Mechanics Fundamental and Application, uh, by Eunice Angel, Fluid Mechanics and Hydraulic Machines, Unit Operation of Chemical Engineering, and much more. I am thankful to Dr. Saket Kumar here, who represented this PPT in our class, and I am presenting in front of you this same PPT from what I have learned from him. So basically, pump, blowers and compressors, so they are nothing but they are the machine that add energy to a fluid stream, are called pumps. Like pumps, our heart inside the body is also one of the pump, similar to the pump, we can say. Biologically the term might be different for the biology students, but yeah, for the engineer it means the same. So when machine that adds energy to fluid stream, like by adding the energy from potential, from the kinetic to the mechanical, then only the fluid can travel from the ground floor to the third floor, second floor, or else you can say xyz position, where we have to uh, where we have to transport the fluid. So when the fluid is slurry, liquid or slurry, and fans and blowers or compressors for a gas or vapor handling units depending on the pressure rise. Like fans usually have a small pressure rise. Yeah, depending on our different needs, there are different types of things, different types of machines we are using, like fans. So air is also one type of fluid you can consider, but it is in the gaseous form, then we can say yeah, it is a gaseous form of fluid. So usually, like fan we are using in our nominally room, so no, room, hotels and etc. So this fluid is also transported by the fan, or it can also be transported by the blowers. So the thing which makes difference between this fans and blower is that only, that fan is not that much sufficient that can force the fluid, that is the air, to the higher pressure, while the blower is much more sufficient to create higher pressure and deliver with higher pressure the fluid. Yeah, so here the thing that has indicated the same, like fans have usually have same pressure rise order of 0.04 atmosphere, while the blowers have moderate pressure rise about 2 atmosphere. Fan can deliver up to 0.04 atmosphere, while blowers are much more sufficient to deliver the air by up to the 2 atmosphere. So yeah, depending on our necessities we are using blower anywhere, not we are using anywhere, but to the like to the specially uh, task we are given. So while uh, in dryer, let us take an example. When you are working as an engineer in chemical industry and you are being ordered to dry the x and xy so and so fluid, like so and so slur. So when you like place the fan inside that system, so it might not be able to work as like as efficiently or sufficiently like the blowers. So the thing matters the same. So pumps and the compressors proceeds like pumps and compressors comes the next, may have very high pressure rise from 2 atmosphere to several thousand atmosphere. Yeah, the minimum pressure starts with 2 atmosphere and it goes up to several thousand atmosphere. So in pumps the thing like the categories which are being defined or categorized under the pump are the centrifugal pump and positive displacement pump. This positive displacement pump is also called as the reciprocating pump. The working of the centrifugal pump is being placed here, and it is making you understand how centrifugal pump is transporting this fluid. More detail like more in more depth we'll going to understand in the further lecture series, where you'll observe clearly how the impellers, how suction is being produced, how fluid is being sucked, or like how priming is being done before starting the pump, why priming is necessary, what is npch net positive suction head, and so on. This motor you can observe, it is being regularly used in our water cooler, which is being used in nominal home uses. So this pump we called as the reciprocating pump, if I'm not wrong, and this is a pump normally which is used in home or in industries, you can say. This is a big setup of pumps in the industry transport fluid. So if mechanical energy is converted into pressure energy by means of centrifugal force acting on the fluid, the hydraulic motion is called centrifugal pump. Yeah, the mechanical energy which is being generated by this centrifugal pump, that energy, if it is being converted into the pressure energy, ultimately the center any of the pump, what it will do, it will generate this that mechanical energy will be generate into the form of pressure energy to the fluid, which will carry the fluid from one position to another position. Suppose we take example, like we have to make the fluid to travel from ground floor to the second floor. So we are using generally this simple pump which we called as the positive the centrifugal pump, we can say. So generally while transporting the fluid, the a pump which is being used, the pressure energy is initially created. Yeah, the thing which I am telling, that why priming is necessary. Yeah, if priming is not being done, the that suction which is being created, it takes by default the air present inside the mm tank from which it is being sucking up the fluid. and the air will rotate and air will be in the in the centrifugal pump, and hence it will not create that much, that amount of pressure which is required to transport the fluid. So detail by depth, yeah, we are continuing the thing to understand. So by the means of centrifugal force acting on the fluid, the hydraulic machine is called centrifugal form. Ultimately, agenda is, if we are using centrifugal pump to transport liquid, to transport fluid from one position to another, the centrifugal pump is used, then we are called, we can say that we are using centrifugal pump. So the main parts of the centrifugal pump, I have told that impellers, how impellers are working, casing, how casing is also done intentionally. Like this type of casing or observe is also being done intentionally. Why it is so, you'll know much more further. The suction pipe with a foot wall and a strainer. The suction pipe you are observing here, up here, bottom side, and the delivery pipe which is on the upper side of the pump. Major parts of the centrifugal pump. This schematic diagram is easily making you understand that how the delivery valve is being placed to the delivery pipe, and the suction pipe you can observe here from the bottom. The foot valve and strainer, here the foot valve is placed basically, and to that suction pipe is continued. The impellers, which is the rotating part of the centrifugal pump, generates the centrifugal force which creates the pressure energy, converting the mechanical energy of the pump to the pressure energy. So impeller, let us know much more about impeller. The rotating part of a centrifugal pump is called impeller. It consists of series of backward curved vanes. Like this vanes, you can observe it is curved series, like there are much more veins you can observe. Casing, it is an airtight passage surrounding the impellers and is designed in such a way that the kinetic energy of the water is discharged at the outlet of the impeller and is converted into the pressure energy before the water leaves the casing and enters the delivery pipe. I have told initially that the casing is also done intentionally. Why it is so, you can notice it, like you can make it out here. It is an airtight passage. The outside air is not allowed to come inside this system, so it is